A very welcome to you. We are here with 15th of June's God Blessing. What about having a generous heart? A heart which actually sees the good within self also and others also. And at the same time, if there is something flawed in ourselves and flawed in somebody else, we try to repair it with being good and generous hearted. That's what we learn in this today's blessing. Let's go ahead and let's understand the blessing. God says, may you have a big and generous heart and always be one with an emperor's heart by constantly having good wishes for yourself. Good wishes for self. Self is over here, but you feel whether you have good wishes for yourself or not over here in your heart chakra. So God says, constantly have good wishes for yourself. Never become disheartened. And we generally become disheartened in our worldly affairs, and we get disheartened in our worldly affairs along with getting disheartened in our spiritual affairs. That means we can overcome lust, anger, greed, ego, attachment, jealousy, hatred, and all those things. Either we say that we can, or we get disheartened, we say no, it's very difficult to do that. And those things then lurk around in our mind, and they have an effect on our life in the physical world. So God says, no matter what each one was like, the Father always has good wishes for every child. No matter what each one was like, the Father is never disheartened. He always has good wishes, with even the last number, but constantly has had hope in him. Even the soul who is saying that I can't overcome lust, anger, greed, I don't have the power to, God still has hope in him. God still has good wishes for that soul. And what do when we see somebody in greedy or jealous or angry habits? We put labels onto them, but God doesn't put labels onto them. God says, have good wishes for them. May they see the light, may they see the right direction, may they see the righteousness. And then God says, but constantly had hope in him. So you too must not lose hope or be disheartened with yourself first, with ourselves first, with others, and with service. Any form of service, whether you're doing service, which is spiritual service, whether you're doing a physical work or anything, never get disheartened in that. God then says, so be one with an emperor's heart. Have a big, generous, great heart. Forgive others very easily. But speak to them, tell them that this is right and this is wrong without using lust or anger or greed or ego or attachment or jealousy or anything. An emperor means one with a generous heart, a big heart. It doesn't mean that you start going and spreading or spending your money and giving away your wealth and all. That is a different form of generous heart. But we're talking about something which is permanent. So somebody who's able to be generous with self, is able to overcome all the weaknesses within, is generous hearted with the self and also generous hearted with others, because we know at the end of Kali Yuga, every soul is suffering from lust, anger, greed, ego, attachment, jealousy. So we cannot blame them. Just like Father doesn't blame anybody, he has got good wishes and he understands that yes, one day these souls or these children of mine will overcome these weaknesses. Same thing should be in our mind. God then says, an emperor means one with a generous heart, a big heart. Never imbibe any weak sanskars, and we generally see others' weaknesses and we end up becoming like that. Be knowledgeful and recognize the many forms of Maya and become victorious. Be knowledgeful and recognize the many forms of Maya. So, what are the forms of Maya? Lust, anger, greed, ego, attachment are the main things, but anger can have different forms. Bossiness is also anger. Getting angry and shouting is obviously anger, but there are different forms of anger also. Similarly, there are different forms of ego. So you can learn all these different forms and recognize these different forms within yourself so that you can make sure that your life becomes simpler and easier. Om Shanti.